This is Misia.
Joshua. I was in the last class too. Sorry we were in that heated discussion when you walked in. Trying to figure everything out, the meaning of life.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, we're here as a guest, but I didn't want to intrude on your
You are
class.
welcome.
Is it better if we sit back there?
No.
Or should we move around?
Yeah, feel free. I mean, it's going to be interactive. She's going to tell her story, and then we're going to have time for Q&A. So the closer you all want to be, the better.
No.
No.
Okay.
There's only about 6 of us.
Oh,
or 8 of
okay.
us. So you're
Great.
you're welcome to come as close as you want. Yeah. Yep.
Nice to meet you.
Good chance that this is not to die. Underneath. Yes. How's that? Oh, okay. We'll make it work.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to move this table over.
This one?
Yeah, I'm just going to move the whole thing.
Okay.
And then I might get us.
There we go. That's great.
That work?
Yeah.
Here?
Yep.
Does that do it?
Perfect. That's perfect.
All right.
One more minute before students will probably stop filtering in. So. Do you want your glasses Nudler or Nudler? Americanized. Yeah, that's I wonder because I've heard both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Olszek.
Olszek. Olszek. And that's Polish. Or it's Polish. We'll just wait and see if Justine filters in. How's your reading?
I'm exhausted.
Are you? Yeah. The outline. You can just try to yeah, or you can even send it electronically. I think there's a place online where you can submit the paper. Yeah. That's great too. Yep.
Yes, it needs some feedback.
Okay. Glad to offer it. Okay. I was gonna just wait for Justine, but has anybody heard from her? Is she coming? I don't want to start without her. That's okay. She'll stay. Welcome. I'm so glad that so many of you could come and visit with us. You are welcome here. Please make yourselves comfortable and come and go as you please. I know that lots of folks that aren't committed to this class period may have other things that are pressing for their time, so feel free to come and go as you please. There's a restroom right outside this door if you're not familiar with this classroom, so feel free if you need it. It's right through this door right there. So welcome. Our class here is called Biblical Spiritualities of Suffering, and we're looking at 3 texts from the Hebrew Bible from the perspective of biblical spirituality. That is, we're looking at the lived experience of those who composed the text and also of the tradition, the Hebrew readings of the text, and then also asking the question that the world of the text sort of asks to the world in front of the text, which is, how might these resources, these texts that we call sacred, be resources for us in the midst of spirituality of suffering when we're experiencing extremity. And so we've finished just recently the Megillah of Lamentations, which is the scroll of Lamentations, which is traditionally actually the scroll that's read during times of extremity in the Jewish tradition. And we've now just transitioned into the Megillah of Esther, the story of Esther, where, of course, the threat of final solutions becomes very acute when reading. The threat of the extermination of the Jews is as a forefront theme in that text. But, of course, we heard from Rabbi Bloom, the rabbi of Misha's faith community, that that text is actually most often read kind of as dark humor in a carnivalesque sort of way. And so we've really been struggling between these 2 very dissonant types of this deep poetry of lamentation and then this much more sort of frivolous exploration of humor in the midst of sort of the most extreme situation of the threat of an entire people group. And so we're sort of struggling with some of that, but one of the things that we have the privilege of doing is welcoming into our class today Misia Nudler, who is a Polish American. She's a Jewish Polish woman who survived the Shoah and met her husband, who she'll tell you quite a bit about, in the IDP camps after the war. They had a son before they immigrated to the United States, and then they came in, actually through New Orleans, I think, and have relocated here to Oakland. And she's been living here now for, oh my gosh, you've been living here for
Since 49.
Yeah, since 49. So, and raised her family here. She and her husband were business owners. She'll tell you her story. So will you give with me a warm welcome to Misia as she tells her story?
I hope you'll understand me. I was born in Poland in a little town named Zaremby-Kościelny, not far from Treblinka. Of course, you know what Treblinka means. And I had a very beautiful family. We were seven girls. 2 of them were married already. I don't know if you're interested where I was before the Shoah. But I would like to tell you a little bit about it, not too much. And of course, life was very good in Poland. We had the parents. I went to a Hebrew school, and I learned Hebrew reading and writing in the Bible, in Jewish. Then I went to a Polish school and learned all kinds of subjects. And I was thinking about it. I adored teachers. I said, oh my God, when I'll grow up, I'll be a teacher. That's what I've told my mommy, Mom, I'm going to be a teacher. She said, Misia, you're so young. I said, I know I'm going to be a teacher. So, but things didn't turn out the way I wanted. You know, it's the life was very good. Two of my sisters were married already. They had kids. So it was, and this is very important. I don't know if everybody knows about that or not. Even the minister of Germany, the foreign minister of Germany, Ribbentrop, he flew in, it was August the 20th, he flew to Russia. It wasn't Russia then, it was United Soviet. And he met with Molotov, the foreign minister of Russia, and they signed a secret non-aggression. And then they signed that they're going to divide Poland. Poland was divided many times before, and nobody knew about it. So that's why Germans attacked Poland. It was September the 1st, and Poland was just in 20 minutes. They have to give up the tribe. It's when the Germans came in, it was just we were not used to it, but still they killed people, not knowing for what. They were very mean, very brutal and mean to everybody, not just Jews, but everybody.
Mm.
And after being there a month, the Russians came in because they had signed this agreement with the Russians. And the Russians came in, so the Russians came in, and it was a very good life because we went to school. I was 11 years old. We went to school there for 2 years. And it was July the 20th, 1941. Germany attacked Russia. It was 4 o'clock in the morning. And a bomb fell on our steps in the front of our house. I hope you can understand me. Can you understand me? And my sister, one of the sisters was married, but she was living with us because they were building her home. So the bomb exploded all over the house, and my brother-in-law was injured. And after 2 days, he passed away. We had a funeral, and my mother said, well, he's lucky, he has a funeral, but God knows what's going to happen to us. So being in the Germans in a few months in that town, there came out a proclamation for all the Jews from our town and from the little villages to go to Chishev. Chishev was around 30 miles from us. They claimed they're going to build a ghetto. That's what they claimed. We had a very nice neighbor. He was Polish. He was the mayor of the town. And I suppose he knew what was going to happen. He came to my father. He said, Goodman, my father's name was Goodman, don't go there, they'll kill you. So my father said, what can I do? I have the family, I have my kids, I have my wife. So my father tried to get a Polish person with a horse and buggy, and we started started going the opposite of Chishev, because the man told us they're going to kill us there. Because we went to Chehanovitz because we had cousins there. And on the way, 40 miles with a horse and buggy, you can't make it in 40 miles in one day. So we stopped at a bar, at a farmer, my father knew, and the farmer let us be in the barn overnight. And in the morning he came to us, he told us he killed all the people while they went to Chishev. So, well, we continued to go to Chehanovitz. In Chehanovitz, they built a ghetto. And the ghetto was, you can't describe what kind of life it was in the ghetto. So my sister, the one that she was pregnant, that her husband got killed, she had the baby, a little beautiful baby, and then there were 9 people in one room. The conditions in the ghetto, it's just, well, it wasn't for a person to live like that. Mm. But we did. The scary thing is, then they formed a police, Jewish police. So they needed something. The police came to us and to tell us what they need. The Germans, when they need something. One day they needed money, one day they needed gold, or the other night they needed force for their women. And if the policemen didn't give them all the things, they killed them. They killed a lot of policemen, or the policemen committed suicide because they couldn't take it. So we were in the ghetto for almost 2 years. It was just, it was cold, but we were hungry. I don't know if you ever read about the ghetto, what's going on. It's not there. You just can't live like that, but we did. We wanted to see the end of Germany. My father had a lot of acquaintances with Polish people, farmers, because he was a furrier. And all of the farmers sent a note to my father to come to make long coats for him because he has the furs. So my father said, I'm not going to leave my family. I can't leave my family. So he insisted that my sister and I was before the youngest one, and my sister and I should go to that farmer. So we were very happy, and my sister and I took brooms, and we pretended that we were going to sweep the outside the ghetto. We went to the ghetto the place where you get out of the ghetto. So there was a Polish policeman, and he led us through the gate. We were surprised. So my sister and I were working for the farmers for a few days. Then the farmer came to us and he said, well, you have to leave it because my helpers are will kill you. They're talking about killing you. So we ran away middle of the day. And there was in Poland, the farmers, it's not like here big cities. It's little cities, like I came from a little city, a small city, and the farmers are next to the little villages. So, and then we saw a farm right in the middle of a farm. So we went in there, and the lady let us stay. She said, yes, you can stay as long as you want. We were very surprised. We still had some furs or something. We gave us some little things. So one day, the doorbell rings. There was a Russian deserter that used to come there. We didn't know about it. So she said, go, hide yourself. We hid it under the bed. For 3 hours, we were laying on the bed. She went out with him to outside. She went here. In the house, she had just one room and a room for the cow. That's what the house had. So as soon as he left, of course, we came out. Another day, again, he rings the doorbell, and she said, hide, go hide. So where should I hide? So they had on the side a place where they had the potatoes. So we were running there. So the potatoes started falling, and he came in. He thought that a Russian, that we are spies. He said, you have spies here? She said, no, they're not spies. They're my cousins. He said, so in the middle of the house was a little oven to warm the house. A little oven, but they were burning with wood or something, I don't know. So he turned over the oven, and meantime there was a smoke in the house, and we had a chance to run away. My sister and I had a chance to run away. Then we went to another place. There were a place that were 3 girls in a brother, 3 girls and a boy. So they let us stay. One day a person that cleans the chimneys, what's it called?
Chimney sweep. A sweep.
The chimneys, yeah, a chimney cleaner.
Yeah.
Saw us there, and he looked at us, and he said, who are they? They said, oh, they're my cousins. They're from here, they're from Warsaw, here. So when he left, we had to leave right away. Next day, he came with the police, and they thought they would be there, so they were ready to kill us. Then we got another place. We were hiding in the attic, and for a few days, and the man was very nice. The people were very nice to us. And after a few days, again, the same story. He said, you know what? You'll have to leave, because they just killed last night in front of not far from me, they killed 2 Jews, the Germans and the collaborators. So we didn't know where to go. We just didn't know where to go. So this gentleman had a big farm, and the farm on the farm there was a barn. So we were hiding there, and one day the door opens up, and we heard somebody say, "Nie ma nikt slomy." It means in Polish and in German, there's no more straw in there. But we were hiding. We were covering. My sister and I always covered up with straw, but there was not too much straw. So the German went around. He poked with my bayonet. He poked in this all over, not far from us, and we were covered, of course, with straw. and the farmer works, this gentleman works outside in the farm that day. So at night we went away because we thought if the Germans would find us and kill us, they would kill that farm. But the farmer, he didn't know we were there. So we didn't want him to kill the farmer, so we ran away again. Ran away again, we spotted another barn, and we were very skinny. So we went through underneath the foundation. We went through the underneath foundation, and we were hiding. We were so happy to see them lying there, covered up. Sure enough, a few days after, a man came, the Polish man came. He said, he uncovered us again. He said, "You can stay here as long as you want. Don't you worry. I'm not going to go to the police." As soon as he left, we left too, because he would have gotten five pounds of sugar from them. If he would brought us in, we would have gotten 5 pounds of sugar from the Germans. So again, we were running around, hiding in the field. Then it was summer, and the cornfields were high, so we were hiding right in the cornfields. It was raining, it was cold, it was warm, so we didn't have a choice. We didn't have any choice, so we were hiding. And the thing is that my sister was very, how do you say it? To live through to see the Germans. With me, I think I was 14 years old then, because it was 2 years after. I said, "Oh my God, what am I living for? What do I need it for?" She said, "We should just see you. You have a nice life, lady. You have a nice life, lady." And again, we ran away. We were hiding in the farms, we were hiding all over. And some people were very nice to us, and some people, of course, you had to be careful not to be found from not to find us, because some people would, just for the fun of it, they would take us to the police. So what is their Jew? Their Jew is nothing. And of course, not all the Poles were like that. Of course, I'll tell you later on about the other Poles, about the thing. They think, you know, the thing is to know why did they do it to us? What did we do to make them so mad, to kill us, to gas stations, to gas places, to kill us? There's Auschwitz, there's Treblinka, there's here. But so this was our this. I suppose he couldn't help it. He had to get somebody. The Germans had to get somebody to lean on them and to do the things that they want to do it. So after that, we were again in the fields, and there was a little stream not far from the farms. So we decided at night, we went out to wash up and to drink the water full of insects. Because it didn't bother us, we just drank the water. And we drank the water, and then one day we found a little tablecloth. I'll tell you how the tablecloth came there, a little new tablecloth. The people from Warsaw and from the big cities used to come to the villages, the farmers, and they used to exchange for food. Because in the Warsaw, they didn't have any food because the war. So we found the little tablecloth. So we said, "Oh, what are we going to do with it?" It came at night. We went to this little village. The village was called Piękizaki. In little village, and we looked around, and we were afraid. If somebody will see us, they'll take us in, they'll kill us. But still, we saw a little light in our window at the end of the little village. So we knocked at the door, and the lady came out, and she looked at us, and she saw who we are. We're skinny and of course dirty and everything. And she said, "What do you want?" So we told her, We got a little tablecloth, I'd like to have a piece of bread. So she called us in the house. This I'll never forget it. It was such a thing what she did to us. She called us in the house and she gave us bread and milk to eat. She let us sit at the table. And for us it was something, so we compared it to my mother. Because my mother was the same way. She gave us bread and she said, you come once a week and I'll give you this bread and boiled potatoes. So that's what we did for 2 months. I came at night and she brought us the tape. She said, don't tell anybody, my family doesn't know, my husband doesn't know. No, we said, of course we're not going to tell anybody. And still we were hiding, after that we were hiding in the, when they cut the straw, the wheat, they make like a teepee from the straw to dry. So we were hiding in the teepee, my sister and I, and sure enough, we heard shooting. What's going on here? Then it was closer and closer and closer. We didn't know that there's the German or the Russians. We didn't know about it. So sure enough, we saw a Russian soldier. So I was a soldier. So he said, Hebrew, Jews? We said, sure, we're Hebrew. He said, don't worry, Hitler's kaput. So we're very, very happy about it. So after that, it was July 22nd, 1945. 45, yeah. So after that, we went to, we were liberated, my sister and I, and I said, what are we going to do now? So we were walking, then we said we'd go to this place where we left our parents. We knew that our parents are not alive because the 13th of November, 42, they confiscated the ghetto where my parents were. And we knew that. But still, we thought maybe somebody's going to lie. We went to Chehanovitz, my sister and I walked 40 miles. We came to Chehanovitz, we found 2 sisters. This was unbelievable to tell the stories of happiness. Our happiness that we found the sister, but then we were sad about my parents and the rest of the family. We found the sisters and we were so happy that it's just it's impossible to tell people how happy we were after we found. They were hiding 20 miles from us. We didn't know about them, they didn't know about us. So after that we went to our town, where we came from. In our town, I'm coming back to our neighbor, Majewski.
Mm-hmm.
This neighbor was the mayor of the town. This neighbor, but he told my father not to go there, he was hiding out a family, the Grishmans, our whole family of 5 people. Next to our house there, he was hiding out the people, this neighbor. So this neighbor had this man, but he lived through, had a meal, a flour, what's it called? A mill of flour or something like that.
A flour mill, yeah.
So he was working once there, and the son came running to the mother that just killed my father. This was after the war. Poland has an organization, the AK, that a lot of people, the Holocaust survivors, were killed. In one city in Kelty, they killed 35 people. They're just anti-Semites and they didn't like Jews. That's why it is. So we had to run away from the house. It was peace. We didn't have any war. We have to run away from the house. And the Russians were there in our town. So they took us in their office, and at night they took us to Ostrov-Mazowiecki. Ostrov is 18 miles from us. They took us to Ostrov-Mazowiecki, and then we were in touch with this lady where she gave us the bread and potatoes, we were in touch with her. But then we told her we wanted to do something here. She said, please don't do anything because I'm afraid of my neighbors. We understood.
Mm.
And then she told us that the Germans killed her son because he was educated before they left. She had only one son. They killed the son. And then she told us, you better run away from Austria if it's going to be a for Roma Jews. So after that, we had to run away to Bialystok. Yeah, you wouldn't know the cities, but I'm just telling you how we ran after the war. Our life wasn't easy. Losing the family, losing the parents, losing everybody. Life wasn't easy. Some of the Poles are very nice people, of course, but some of them just didn't like us. Well, that's the way it was. So when I went, then we went to Bialystok. In Bialystok, my sister got married, and then we had a Jewish, I don't know, there's an organization, Brecha, Jewish Brecha. Does somebody know about it? Brecha, Jewish organization from Israel. And they took us at night through the mountains in Poland. So we wound up in Linz, we wound up in Prague. They took us at night, during the night. And we wound up in a DP camp in Germany. DP camp is a displaced persons camp. We didn't have any, see, we went out of Poland because we didn't want to stay there. And the Russians were there, so they didn't give us permission to leave. The Russians wouldn't let us leave. So we went to Germany, there we were in a DP camp for a few years, and I got married. My husband was a very nice man. He was a Holocaust survivor too. And he worked for the American Red Cross. He was driving a Jeep. And after living there for a few years in Germany, we had an aunt here in Auckland, and she sent us papers, and we came to the United States. But I tell you, I still remember the day that we came to the United States in New Orleans by ship. It took us 14 days. And before I forget, my son was born in Germany after the war, of course, and after we got married. And then we had, he was 8 months old when we came over here. So we came by ship to New Orleans. And on the ship, this is something that I couldn't understand English. I didn't speak English. Nobody spoke English. Nobody could understand. I could speak Yiddish and Polish and a little bit of Russian, a little bit of Hebrew, but English was a very harsh language for me. So he said, I was waiting in a line for get milk for my son. So there was a gentleman standing in the front, and he said, I want orange juice. And I thought he talks about Jews, about us. So I came to my husband. See, Harold, on the ship they talk about Jews. And I couldn't understand that. That's what it shows. It was a hard language. So I came here to this town, and then I lived with my sister for 2 years together. And I had my daughter, and and my sister had 3 kids, and we have established very nicely. My husband and my brother-in-law went together in business, in junk business, and we had a store on East 14 in Auckland, plumbing store. And we were together, and then of course we bought homes. So we tried to Americanize, tried to do the things. So I'll never forget when we still were 2 years in town. So we went to San Francisco. We couldn't afford the Fairmont, but we went down to the what is it called, the Tango Room in Fairmont. Yeah, I have pictures from there. So it's the thing is, even now, I thought, okay, then my life was very good here. We tried to do the best. My kids went to school. I was yard supervisor for 2 months. Then I made money for the yard supervisor, $5 a day, and it was very nice. But then I started volunteering. So I was president of my sister to my temple. I was president of Hadassah, which I went to as a delegate to Israel a few times, and I belong to another organizations, a lot of organizations. And the thing is that who are trying to be as best citizens as we could. And this is very important to me. I don't know if you know about the Jewish organization for Gentiles, for righteous, the Jewish organization for righteous Gentiles. This is a very important thing. If not the people, the Polish people, they were hiding us, they were giving us food, or whatever they did. If not them, none of the Jews would be left during the Holocaust. And of course, of course they were killed together with us. If they find us, they would kill their people. And this is such a. So, we have organizations, for the Jewish Organization for Righteous, that we have tried to give them monthly money, the ones that they need for the people, for the righteous. And in Israel, there's a Yad Vashem. A Yad Vashem is a place special for Holocaust, the memorial for the Holocaust, with all the pictures and everything. Right by the Yad Vashem in Israel and the Skopis in Israel, in Jerusalem. Next to them, next to the Yad Vashem, is a beautiful garden with trees, and all the names of the people that saved the Jews. Israel it was very nice to them, and they had to come to Israel, and they put their names on it, and they honored by Israel, by the parliament, This is something that people say, do people know about the righteous? I said, I don't know if they know about the righteous people, the righteous Gentiles. I don't know, but this is just important as for me as living, because if not them, I wouldn't be alive. And sure enough, they were nice. They were nice to us. Of course, some of them were not nice. Because you find it in this country, people that they're not nice. But some of the people, like our neighbor, Majewski was his name. Our neighbor from the town. He was hiding Jews in his house, next to our house. And this is I made it short because I wrote a book about my life, and I wrote it just a little bit. But I'm lucky. I'm very lucky. I have my family. First of all, I want to tell you, I lost my son a few months ago. He was 67 years old. Yeah, he was mentally ill. So I lost my. That's hard for me. But then I have a daughter, and she's very nice. I'll tell you about my son. I used to see him every Sunday. He was in Auckland. And the last Sunday I saw him, I don't know if you're interested to tell about that. Yeah? Last Sunday I saw him, he was in East Auckland. Last Sunday I saw him. Of course, he always brought him cheeseburgers and onion rings and cigarettes. And people used to say, why do you give him cigarettes? I said, what else does he like? He's a mentally ill person. He behaves himself. What else does he have? So a few months ago, he stopped taking his medication because he was very like a zombie. He couldn't talk, he couldn't walk, he couldn't see. It was horrible when he took the medication. When he stopped taking medication, he started talking, he started walking. It's just entirely different. It's just, he was over-medicated. So when he was eating, I said, Harry, can I have a piece of onion ring? Oh yeah, Mom, you could have. But when I came in, I used to kiss him, and he said, kiss me, Mom, kiss me. Like it would be this last kiss. So I kissed him, and then when I left, I said, my gosh, it was so beautiful. Then next day he passed away in his sleep. Yeah, but then I have my daughter, the son-in-law, and my granddaughter. And I have my family, my sister's family. She has 3 kids. She has grandchildren. She great. She's not alive anymore. She has 2 great grandchildren, and we get together very much. Matter of fact, I just turned 90, and my kids they're trying to get a special before my son passed away, a special place for me to celebrate the 90 in Auckland. So and I had 120 guests from my. I had it on my list. 120 guests for the party, but I canceled it, of course. So yesterday we had at my niece's house. We had the celebration in our family. We have 6 people there born in October. So we had a special Mexican style with margaritas, with this. This is something that I'm just lucky. I'm a lucky person to have I have my daughter, my son-in-law. It's very nice to meet my daughter. And then I have my temple. My temple, I'll tell you the truth, I'm not religious. I go to the temple on Saturdays because I like to see the people. That's where I go. When I was younger, I never went. My husband and I went at night, Friday night, because she was working Saturday. I said, of course. But I was now I enjoy going to the temple. I'm going to see people. And I enjoy this. And I enjoy being with the family. The family means a lot to me. Then I have beautiful neighbors. They've been so nice to me. It's just, I said, wow. I said, Jim puts in the table, my paper each morning in my slot. I said, Jim, why are you doing it? She said, what do you mean why I'm doing it? What else do you want me to do for you? It's just, I'm lucky. I'm just a lucky person. It's, and I have the family of my daughter and I have my granddaughter. So, and I have my friends. I have my friends that made here from Hadassah when I was president, from Sisto, from here, from there. And I live in Auckland, and I hope I'll die in Auckland. Yes, I love Auckland. That's okay. I think I don't know if you got it without a lot of it, but I made it short because I know maybe people want to ask me some questions.
Either questions for clarification if you want to hear more about a specific time, or if you have more general questions. Of course, those in the class, we have questions specifically about the text that we'll come to later, but I want to make sure we give credence to her story and any clarifying questions that you have about timeline or the events.
I just want to say thank you.
I can't hear what you say.
Thank you.
Yeah, if you can speak really loudly, her hearing aids broke this
I lost
morning.
my hearing aid.
So if you can speak really loudly, that would be helpful.
Today I lost my hearing aid.
I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you for sharing
Thank you.
with us.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
I have a dear friend.
And you have to talk a little bit louder.
I have a dear friend, Ava. She is going to be 90 next year.
Who?
Also a friend of mine.
Yeah.
She is also a Holocaust survivor. And reminding me because she is just so grateful. Grateful. And I thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
That's the way she is. Just
Yeah.
incredibly grateful.
You know, it's if you try to adjust it. I remember the day that we landed there. I was crying because they had in New Orleans they had a orchestra in front of the ship, and they were, of course, welcomed us. And I was crying like a baby because it's just was a change. And some people, I'll tell you the truth. Some people, when I see the voting for the voting, the ballots for the voting, and I see in Spanish or this, I said, why did they call in Spanish? Why did they talk in Spanish? It's America, it's the United States. Why do they, if they're United States, they have to adjust to it. They have to adjust it, and I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but I'm not always right.
Misia, can I ask a clarifying question? When you and your family were in the ghetto, and the police came to your father to ask for him to make these furs, and he sent you and your sister out. Where was he sending you to that he was able to send you out and stay inside the ghetto himself?
To the farmers that they want my father to come.
Oh, so there was a farmer that requested your father.
He said, I'm not going to leave my family.
But I'll send my daughters
Of
instead.
course.
And so then he told you and your sister,
Yeah.
don't go,
Yeah,
run
sure.
away.
Because we didn't know that we're not going to see him again. We never knew that they're going to be killed so soon.
And with you and your other sisters, the two sisters that you found when you
Yeah.
came back, the same thing happened for them? How did they
Oh
get
yeah,
out?
the same thing. Yeah, they were hiding in this place was 20 miles from us. And we didn't know about them. For 2 years we didn't know about them, they didn't know about us. That's what I said. Now, the family means a lot to me. I'm lucky I have this family, I have right. Like last night, it was a celebration. Celebration. It's beautiful. Yeah, so, and I'm lucky I have my daughter that lives here in San Jose, Saratoga, and I have my granddaughter, she lives in San Francisco, she loves San Francisco. Yeah, because I told her, I said, Alana, when I die, I think you should move in this house. Booba, you're not gonna die. I said, of course I'm gonna die. So she said, no, I don't like Oakland. I love San Francisco. There you go. There you go. What are you gonna do? Yeah, sure, to pay $200 just for parking a car there. It's a different life now. It's a different life. It's entirely different. But I think we are adjusted really, really good to this country. We're adjusted. We are always celebrating the holidays with all the people. We're celebrating the American holidays. We're celebrating. We just love to be with the family. That's I love to be with the family.
Other questions?
No question. And I wrote a book about my life, but this is a short book. Then I have pictures a lot. Oh, but I came yesterday to my niece's house. That was my birthday. It was, of course, for the rest of the 5 people's birthdays. So my daughter made a collage with pictures. My gosh, as big as this thing. With all the pictures, since I was little, since the kids were little, since the family.
Wow.
So we have. I'm just lucky. I'm lucky with the family because some people say, "Your family." I said, "Yes, I have a family, but I'm lucky." We've been very close. Matter of fact, my husband, as I said, my husband was in business with my brother for 40 years, and he passed away 27 years. I was 72, and I was 62. He was 72. He passed away. So, but life goes on. I did my volunteer work. I worked at St. Vincent de Paul, volunteered at the Meals on Wheels. What did I do? I worked for Mother Wright. I don't know if somebody knew about Mother Wright. No, nobody knows Mother Wright.
Yeah.
She used to be in Oakland. She used to feed people in the park there, 9th Street. Yeah. You know that?
I've only heard of her. I never met her.
Yeah.
Is your book for sale?
No. I just made it for the family, but you can look at it if you would like to.
I'd like to look at it.
Yeah.
The beautiful pictures.
Thank
This is
you.
Justine.
Thank you for sharing your story with us. I was just curious, did it take a long time for you to be comfortable with sharing such personal and difficult experiences, or?
She was wondering how long it took after the war for you to be able to talk about it. Were you able to talk about it right away, or did it take some time?
No, I didn't talk about it right away. I didn't know. She wants to look at my picture. I didn't talk about it right away because we were so busy at American. It's just, it's a different life here. It's a beautiful life. So I didn't. But then I had problems with my son. He was sick. And my husband never wanted to talk about the Holocaust. But I talked about the Holocaust. Matter of fact, I talked at the church, what's his name?
First Covenant Church.
Yeah, I've talked to the people,
Church where I did.
I've talked at schools, at the churches, which I don't know how people understand me when I'm talking.
Oh yeah, it's clear. It's very clear. Yes.
Yeah. So it's that life is not the way you want it, but life you have to adjust to life.
Mm-hmm.
So and I'm adjusting very much to everything, but it's just still it's very hard. But you adjust to things. It's I had a good life and a busy life, a good and bad and busy. I always was busy. Even I was a volunteer at the Jewish Home for Jewish Parents. They playing bingo. I was the one that has the money, and I worked for 50 years involved. I was a volunteer for 50 years there with the money.
Mm-hmm.
I just retired. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Yeah, they had a big celebration to honor her for her service recently.
Yeah, it's in me. I think it's in me. And, I love people, and I think I get it back from people. Yeah, get it back from people. Yeah.
Got another question over here.
Thank you so much for sharing your story. Have you ever returned to Poland?
I can't hear.
Have you
I just lost my hearing.
No, it's okay.
have you had a chance to go back to Poland since the war?
Yes. It was in yes. I said we were after the war. We were in Poland. We had to run away again. In 1995, my daughter and my sister and her husband and 3 kids went to Srebrenica, wanted to see their parents perish, wanted to say goodbye. So we went there and we said goodbye to our parents and made, of course, made the Easter. After that, we went to Auschwitz. There all the people say this. And I don't have to tell you how it's to see Auschwitz in Srebrenica. It's just unbearable. And then we went to England. In England, we had a wonderful time. We went to the shores, to the plays, but you know what? The seats are so small there, and it was hot there. It was so hot there. They never had hot there. So of course the cars are not. They don't have air conditioning in the car. We got away, but we had a good time there. And if people are complaining about little things, and I hope we won't have any war now. I hope it's finished.
Misia, can I ask a question about you said that you aren't particularly religious, but you attend temple often because that's your community.
Yeah.
So are there specific either holidays or readings from the Torah or from the Hebrew Bible that help you? You were saying earlier to me that there are many people that survive the Holocaust that don't want to be religious because they can't make sense of God any longer. Yeah. So for you, in your own experience, or for your husband, who never wanted to talk about it, was there some part of the Jewish faith or part of the Jewish text that helped you?
Forgiveness. You forgive, you don't forget, but you forgive people. Take a look how Germany is now with Israel. They've been friends for 50 years. They just celebrated not long ago. Mm. It changes around, and not all the Germans are bad. Not all the Jews are bad. Not all the Jews are good. This is the way the life is. But you know what? You have to take the people the way they are. Mm. Let's make it. Mm-hmm.
Other questions? I of course have. Yeah.
I just have one. Maybe you can ask her.
Yeah. Just speak as loud as you can.
How?
You'll be my interpreter.
Okay.
How did you teach your children? Because your husband didn't want to talk about it, which is understandable.
Yeah.
But perhaps you were more comfortable. How do you share that narrative to different generations in your family?
Yeah.
Did you teach them?
Yeah. So when you tell your kids and your granddaughter
Yeah.
about your experience, how do you teach them about such a difficult experience in your life?
I tell them, I talk to them about it.
Yeah,
I
you
talk, I talk to them about it. And it's, the thing is, but it's, you know what? The young people, they have their own life. Yeah. It's, this is the way I feel about myself. I think I made myself, I had a good life. With all the problems, with all the things, I used to see my son every Sunday. With all the things, with losing a husband, I think I made myself a beautiful life. Yeah, but people are complaining about things like that. It's just about little things. It's you have to take, you have to take life the way it comes.
Yeah.
You can change it. It can change life.
Yeah.
You can change life like a president. You can change life like this. You can change life. No.
Yeah.
I hope you won't bring us in a war. Or they need another war.
Can you tell us about your work with the Hadassah chapter that you were president of?
Sure, but Hadassah. I was president in 82, 84 of Hadassah. We had almost 1,000 members in Auckland. Almost 1,000. And Hadassah is an organization that helps the youngster. We help youngsters. Then we have a hospital in Jerusalem. Beautiful, beautiful hospital. 2 hospitals. One is called Mount Scopus and one is called Adam, whatever it's called. And it's beautiful. They have the latest tandis, the latest things there. And they have, they don't have just Jews as doctors. They have Arabs, they have Muslims, there's everybody there. It's different, when you're educated, you get along better with people. That's what I think. I don't know if I'm right or wrong. Yeah, so the hospitals are very important thing for us. Very important thing. It's it was founded by in 19 something, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful place. So I was there a few times. I was a delegate, and I was there. It's just. I'm not just working for Jewish things. I worked at St. Vincent de Paul on Sundays. In the beginning, when I started working at St. Vincent de Paul on Sundays, not every Sunday, I was crying. I couldn't stand it. There's so many hungry people. We used to serve 700, 500 people. There's so many young. I said, my gosh, I came home tired and crying. Then I decided myself, you know what? My mom would like me to do it. And I did it, and at Christmas we took the places of the Christian people who worked at Christmas, who worked Easter, who worked all the time. So, but now it's closed, they can't keep it up. It's just too bad. Yeah, so I think volunteering made me a better person. I'm not such a good person, but made me a person that I would like, that I am. That's what I think. I don't know. It's
Sounds like your mother taught you charity
Yes.
in the book.
Yeah.
what you say.
She's asking about your mother, your mom's value for kindness and generosity.
My mom. Everybody's saying that good things, but I have to say it because it's true. My mom was such a good person. She was good with the Polish neighbors, with everybody, because we had a lot of Polish neighbors. And then I'll give you an example. And the Germans came in, and then they came back. They went back, and the Russians came in. The Russians came in. So a lot of people from Warsaw, from the other side, used to run to us because the Russians were there. So we had a house. I was then 11, 12 years old. We had a house full of people. of the people coming from there. We're not supposed to because the Russians didn't let us have it, but we weren't supposed to. My mom served food first to the people that they came, then to us. And my mom was so good with the neighbors. If they needed something, they always came. It's not like here, you know. She came for a piece of bread, or for an egg or something. She always was close with them. My father too, but my father was a businessman. And I was sure for you. He had a big family. The family, all of them were in the same business, furriers. They used to buy sheep, dry sheepskin, dry sheepskin, and process that and make it long jackets for the men, for the people for the farmers, because it's very cold in Poland. And for the ladies, the short ones. So we used to work there, and we used to get together during the holidays. We used to get together with all the family all the time. You didn't need a telephone. You didn't. It just went. That's it. You didn't need a telephone. We didn't have a telephone. We didn't have it. We didn't have it, but I suppose we didn't miss it because we didn't know about it. It was 100 years ago, 70 years ago. Yes, it's just a different life. It was a happy life. And of course, you know, the Jewish life was different. I think we were different than the Polish people because we were a little bit, we were strange. We were a little bit strange to them. In kind of our religion, in kind of our upbringing, the Polish people, they're very religious. The Catholics are very religious, and the Jewish people used to have a Jewish school and a Polish school. So I went to the Jewish school, the Hebrew school, and then I went to Polish school. It's entirely different, and I suppose we were a different kind of people. I don't know. That's what I think. But I'm happy with my people. People are complaining. They're doing this. They're doing that. I'm very happy. My people are doing a lot of things, a lot of good things, especially when they have the Righteous Gentiles, the organization. The organization is a very good organization. It's and I hope everybody knows about it because it's just. In the people, in the people that they are hiding us out, the people are dying out, Yeah, but it's, we went to Washington, D.C. to see the memorial Holocaust, I saw it too. I went a few times to Holocaust Museum. And it was nice for the country to give the people, to give the Jews the grant. They donated the grant, the country, which was very nice. It's important to have this Holocaust. It's important to know what happened to people, because it could happen to anybody. It's like it was happening in South Africa, it was happening in all kinds of places, like Niger, all over. It's just what we have to, I don't know, it's just, sometimes I lay at night at church, I said, why couldn't people get along nice? Why? Why couldn't people get along? I suppose people are, I don't know, it's different upbringing, different things, I don't know. So that's me, I don't know.
Misia, can I ask you a question about Purim?
Yes, sure.
So we've been reading the scroll of Esther, and of course, because we are not Jewish, we're reading it as outsiders looking at this text, and we're reading it seeing the story of the threat of the extermination of the Jews, and that, Mordecai helps Hadassah to assimilate so that she's not killed, and then she gets into a place of power. Esther, yes, gets into a place of power, and then she ends up saving her people. And of course, we read this and felt moved. We felt sort of emotional, and it was. And then we learned from Rabbi Bloom that in the Jewish tradition, it's much more of a fantasy, and it's kind of funny, and it's a little bit more jovial. And so I'm wondering, for you, when you are part of Purim, does it feel, when you hear the threat of the extermination of the Jews and you read about Haman and all the kids are using their, noisemakers, what does it feel like for you? Or is there a different text?
It's history.
It's just history.
That's history. I don't know when it happened, but it's history. Let's kid ourselves.
Yeah.
It's history. All the things, even in the Bible, you read some things, it's history. It's just, I don't know, that's me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because I'm not religious, that's right. Yeah, but I do observe all the, of course, all the holidays, all the things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but this is very at peace. We were persecuted years ago, thousands of years ago, and again it happened with Hitler, and who knows what will happen again? It's just we have to try to live together, to get together, like Israel and Palestinians. They have to try to get together. They have to try to make a country. They have to try to the best they can. Not to intimidate them, but it's just for Jewish people, life isn't easy, because that's what I think. It's because we went through such a Holocaust, such a thing. It's unheard of. I mean, it's a thing that we didn't expect it from people, especially the Germans, consider themselves such educated people. All the educated people came from Germany, and it was educated. It was really more than Poland, more than anybody else, than any country. And that's what has happened with the big countries. That's what has happened. So we have to try to make a better life, a better thing for people to get along with people.
I'm amazed at how happy you are.
What did you say? What did you say?
She's amazed at how happy you are in your life.
I'm a
You've
positive.
been through a lot.
I'm a positive person.
Very.
I'm a really
Very.
positive. Yeah, really positive. I try to get along with everybody. So it's me. That's me. And my mother used to say, this I remember from my mother. If you can't say something good about people, don't say anything. We were kids. We were kids then, full house of kids. And this is the way it was. And it's the upbringing, even though I wasn't old enough to understand everything, but the upbringing in a house, the way you behave, the way you had a holiday, we had on Saturday, we had to be home. All the kids had to be home on Friday night for the main meal. My father used to make the bracha of bread and wine, and then my mother used to cook a beautiful meal with all the things. They didn't have any electricity. They didn't have any electric oven. I mean, by wood. And of course, if you want to make fish, you have to chop all the fish. You have to make the noodles. We made the noodles. And this was the way it was. It's just.
Were your sisters as happy as you are?
Yes, some of them.
Some of them?
Yeah, some of them.
Very unusual. Yeah.
Well, it's if I don't know if you're crying, we used to say, if you're crying by yourself, but if you're smiling, all the world smiles with you.
Oh.
Who used to say that?
I don't remember who said that.
I think what is that? L. Jolson, I think. Yes, L. Jolson. Yeah, when you're crying. Yeah, I cry plenty. It's especially now with losing my son. But I didn't bring it out to people. I told you the story about my son because I felt like telling you because it's in this story for me. But I try not to bring out the bad things to people. Not to. I don't know how to say it. It's everybody has problems. Not everybody. People have problems. If you bring all the problems to people, you can go crazy.
Yeah. You have one more question over here.
I'm gonna, because
Yep.
I think you
Yeah.
can, so it's two parts.
Okay.
I'm
Too bad
curious,
today I lost my hearing.
if this was already said, I apologize for missing it. I'm curious if, when she was a child, if she and or her family were non-religious, or if the non-religious, I don't want to use the word stance, but if that lifestyle came after the war, and then if she does consider herself more agnostic or atheist, what did she draw on to come to the forgiveness?
Yeah. So she's wondering two things. If your family, because you said that your family always had Friday meal together and you celebrated the holidays, so was your family religious?
Yeah,
Or,
oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh, my father went to temple in the morning and at night, no matter how busy he was. No matter how busy, he went in the morning, at night. And of course, on Saturday, my mother and father went to temple. We didn't go, the kids didn't go. My father used to go to temple and bring orchim. Orchim means people that, poor people. So he used to bring, when he went to temple on Saturday, he used to bring 5, 6 people to eat with us dinner. My mom never knew how many people he's going to bring. It's not fancy, it wasn't fancy dinners as here, but it was a dinner. So this is the way I was brought up, and I think I keep my tradition here like that.
Yeah.
Not a religious tradition, but I don't know. I don't know why. It's, I shouldn't say that.
So,
But the tradition to be a good person, be a good person, be good to people, be good. And another thing, take a look at the woman that she gave us bread and this. Jairus killed her son. She had only one son. They killed the son because he was educated. It's just, it's not right. So what you got to do? You can't do things that you can express yourself about doing things, but you can't do the things that you can't. I mean, you don't understand. You can't make a person good, to be good. You can't make a person to be different. The way you want it, the way you are. If you are a nice person, a good person. I'm not saying about myself. If you're a nice person, a good person, it's all right. But if you're a person that you're always groping, always telling, always complaining, you can't change either. You can't change it. People are like that. That's the way people are.
So the other part of her question was, it sounds like you drew on the inspiration of your parents, their generosity, their kindness, their forgiveness, to live your life after the war.
That's right.
But they drew those principles from, now you have to remember, we're religion students, so we're trying to understand. If they drew those principles off of the deep religiosity of their lives, but then somewhere along the line you kind of distanced yourself a little bit from the religion, how do you distinguish drawing from the religion versus drawing from your parents' principles? Is there something else that motivates you to forgive or to live a life of generosity?
I'll tell you, that is not religious, but I'm not kosher. I'm not kosher.
Right.
But I think that my life, the way I live, is religion. It's a religious life. That's what I think.
Yeah.
I don't have to go to the temple every minute. I don't have to have kosher. I don't have to pray too much. But the way you present yourself, the way you are, the way you try to treat people. Yes. That's the main thing. The way you try to treat people.
Spirit.
Yeah.
So what's resonating for me is that you live a spiritual life.
Yeah, spiritual.
Is that accurate characterization?
I'm saying you're not religious. Of course, I do all the religious things that is provided for me from religion, like going to temple on holidays and things like that. But I'm not kosher because I don't believe in it. I don't believe in it because was years ago they didn't have a refrigerator. They didn't have a refrigerator.
So
That's what I said. Good answer. Yes.
Steve.
I'll just,
Yeah.
thank you for coming. Was it necessary to go to Auschwitz and Treblinka?
When you made the decision to go back to Europe, did it feel necessary to Europe, to
Yeah.
Poland? Did it feel necessary for you to visit Auschwitz and Treblinka?
Very hard.
Yeah.
It was so hard for us. It was so hard. It was just unbelievable, unbelievable. So I wasn't at the camp, you know. I was hidden out, and I get there for almost 2 years, and for 2 years hidden out. But it was so hard for us, especially in Treblinka, to say goodbye to our parents after so many years. It was very hard. It was just a hard trip, but we had to do it. I couldn't take my son because he was sick, but my daughter came with me, and it was just, I don't know how to explain it. Yeah. You bury the parents there, and you were not at the funeral. I mean, you bury the parents in Treblinka, you were not at the funeral. It's just, you know, it's your mind goes, you know, all the way. It's so hard to understand it, very hard to understand it. But we did it, which I'm so happy we did it. Yeah, because it's. I'm saying I'm not religious. I go to the temple, and I have my husband's name there as this. For his yurtside, for his yeah. When he died, what's his yurtside?
It's like a memorial.
Memorial. Oh, memorial. I have my parents' name. I have my husband's parents there too. Yeah, I have them all over this. And now we have a beautiful yard. What's it called? Not a yard. It's called a
Courtyard. Like a courtyard?
Courtyard. We have a beautiful courtyard. When we have bricks, we have a few hundred bricks all over the names of it. And I have
that are engraved.
Yeah, and I have at the temple. As you come in the temple, you come to the front, and there's a window, a colorful glass. My parents and my parents. It's this is very meaningful to me. It's very meaningful. Matter of fact, I have to give you an example about the Holocaust survivor, about people how they feel, some of the Holocaust survivors. We had about this. I'm not going to brag about myself, but I want to tell you this story about the Holocaust survivors. We had about this last Saturday, and the lady came over to me the week before, and she said, "Misia, I'm going to put your name, because it's my birthday, your name and the cake for my son." I said, "Don't you dare to do that. Don't you dare to do it. Don't you dare." She said, "What do you mean? You're in my heart, and I love you. You're a Holocaust survivor." I said, "It's a big deal, Holocaust survivor. Don't do it, please." So what do you know? She did it. She did it, and then she put that leaflet that she said, honoring the Holocaust survivors. She honoring me because I'm 90 years old. It's people, you know, some people look at you and say, "How could you survive? How could you?" I don't know either. I don't know how I survived. I have no idea. You know, sometimes I don't sleep good at night. I said, "My God, was it me? Was it me?" Yeah, it was me. The cold, the rain, the snow, and laying in the summer and all in the fields, in the cornfields. But I don't know how we did it. I'll tell you the truth, honest to God. Honest, sometimes I mean it. And sometimes I said, "My gosh, it wasn't me." But I did survive. And people said, how did you do it? I said, "I don't know. I just don't know how I did it." We did it. We did it. Thanks to the righteous Gentiles. That's what we did it.
Wow.
And I would like you to know, all of you, about the righteous Gentiles, about the organization. Because this is a wonderful organization that we honor them. We honor them. Because after all, if the Germans would find out for the Pole, they'd kill them, they kill us. So, but they, you know, they were very good people, and it's hard to find too many people like that. It's just hard because it was a war. It was a war, and it is hard, but they did it. They did it. The loyal people and the beautiful people.
When Rabbi Bloom was with us not a week ago, last Thursday, he said that, you know, there is sometimes a kind of a myth, like a fable, that God keeps the world going because there may be 25 or 30 righteous people on earth at any time. And he said, and I believe I can speak for all of us that we agree with him, that one of those 30 people is you.
Thank you.
So we want to honor you and thank you for your life. Thank you so much for being so grateful for you. Thank you guys so much for being here and for honoring Misia and giving space for her to tell her story. I want to continue to encourage the students that are taking this class for credit as we transition now into the book of Job. Let the questions that come from having this text in front of us that interacts with these other texts of suffering that we're working with in the scriptures continue to stir up the discomfort in the questions for you. And feel free to use the space for our reading forum if you have lingering things that are kind of resonating for you, either from this week's guest lecture or from Rabbi Bloom's. So thank you for being with me and letting me sort of venture into this uncharted territory as we finish up the book of Esther and move now into the book of Job. So I will be in touch with you all, and I will. Everything's already enabled for Thursday, and the readings are listed there.
I hope you got out something from that about Holocaust.
Yeah. Thank you. And thanks to those of you online watching. We love you.
Thank you.